Hey, James Linton, back with Hack Nation, the series I'm doing with Agari. The White House emails, the thing that definitely got me kind of the most media coverage and exposure on Twitter and things like that. Um, yeah, I mean, it seemed like a fairly simple premise, send a spoof email to the White House, but I expected it to be harder than it actually was, and I'll explain why in a second. I think the first thing that really struck me was that the naming structure at the White House, both email wise and domain wise, was based in conventions that were extremely long standing. They've been on the internet for many, many years. It doesn't take much Googling to find examples of the structure and the server domain names that they use. Now, I'm sure conventions stick around for traditional reasons and for ease of just, not changing it up. But for me, you probably got to make it a bit harder to get hold of these things. I'm not saying make it completely obscure, but some sort of development or evolution of the naming structure over time is only going to help narrow down the amount of people that are going to try and find it and use it for malicious purposes. So that was one of the things that really struck me. So it really wasn't all that hard to get hold of the naming convention. So first name dot last name, or variations thereof for the White House. They use several different ones actually. I'm sure they change it every now and again. I don't know if it's just inputted in an inconsistent way rather than it being a kind of security protocol, but these things seem to have changed around a bit. So I knew I had a few to try, but the display name was slightly non-conventional. You couldn't really do it in every webmail provider. Certain ones wouldn't allow anything other than, it wouldn't allow a space and then other bits in a surname and things like that. So that was something I had to get around, and it didn't take too long to find one that did allow me to use the convention which they use. So to set up the technical aspects needed to actually get my email, or to know that my email is going to at least make it through over the first hurdle, wasn't too difficult. And I think they could have made it a bit harder. I really do. If the email wasn't kind of public facing, if you're not a press officer, if you're not corresponding with journalists and things like that, then surely there's a need for a bit of mystery. Make it a bit harder to get hold of. Organisations do. So I don't see why probably the most powerful administration and network of people in the land, well, in the world, couldn't make it a little bit trickier to get hold of. I mean, we won't talk about the fact that they had absolutely no protective systems to prevent this anyway. That's just scary beyond belief, but we'll cover that another time. Anyway, that was all I wanted to touch on today, setting up the kind of first hurdle that got the email through. I'll talk again soon. Bye now. I keep looking over there because there's a bloody moth come through, which means the cat's going to come in again. Right, going to deal with that. Cheers, bye.